While news coverage would have you believe that America's economy has fully recovered from its collapse in 2008, many millennials are still struggling to catch up. And guess what? It's not because they're spending too much money on avocado toast or refusing to grow up. The median home price in big cities like Los Angeles is quickly approaching the $1 million mark. Considering the fact that it's recommended to fork over 20% for a down payment, it's nearly impossible for the area's young professionals to secure a home. That means that a potential buyer would need to save at least $200,000 in cash, and that doesn't even include closing costs or money for inevitable home repairs. How is this very real problem being written about in the press? Well, I just recently came across a headline in the New York Post. And the title made me crazy. It says, unlike millennials, Gen Z wants to buy homes. Okay, look, take a second to think about the framing here. First, it makes it seem as though millennials don't want to own property. Secondly, to add insult to injury, they're being compared to a group that was born after 1995 to really highlight the false stereotype that millennials are irresponsible and immature. Look, further investigation shows that the New York Post is basing its headline off of one survey and an article published in MarketWatch. The survey, which was conducted by Property Shark, indicates that 83% of Gen Z plan on buying a home within the next 5 years. Yeah, that's it. Again, Gen Z includes people who were born after 1995, meaning that they're 23 years old or younger. I'm pretty sure that almost everyone, regardless of which generation they were born into, thought that they would buy a home within 5 years when they were 23. I certainly thought that as well. When any article or survey makes declarative statements about anyone, it's healthy to question it. Turns out there's data that conflicts with Property Shark's findings.
What we are very encouraged about right now is the millennials, that first-time home buyer. By a recent survey by Trulia, basically says that 86% now say they want to buy a house, 35% say they want to buy a house this year. That's a big shift from what it was the last 5 years and encouraging for the housing market.
You know, some of the latest.
To be fair, there was one thing that the Property Shark survey was correct about. It found that millennials are more realistic about their means and the most pessimistic about the prospect of home ownership. Maybe instead of assuming millennials don't want to purchase homes, it might make more sense to look into why they're so pessimistic about the prospect of home ownership. According to CNBC, millennials finally began entering the housing market in huge numbers last year in 2017, only to find a critical shortage of homes for sale and fast rising home prices. Bidding wars became the norm, and young potential buyers from coast to coast were often priced out. Lack of inventory is driving up housing prices, which of course negatively impacts everyone in the middle class, not just millennials. Part of the problem is that investors swoop in and purchase homes for the sole purpose of renting them out. Fox Business has more on this.
One of the biggest things that came out this week was in the Wall Street Journal. They were talking about how institutional investors are going out and gobbling homes, and then they're renting them out because they're saying certain families now just want to be renters. What is your thought in that sentiment?
So, I mean, that's true. I think that we just came out this month that rents hit an all-time high, averaging around $1,400 nationally right now. So that sentiment is very true, coupled with a staggering fact that a lot of the houses that were bid on in 2017, 35% of them were bid on without somebody actually physically going to look at the house to make that first offer. So it's very consistent right now. And with rents that high, it's a good economic play for large hedge funds or investors.
That's right. Housing affordability continues to be a huge issue in America, and it goes beyond home ownership. For anyone making minimum wage, there is literally no place in America where that low pay can afford you a 2-bedroom apartment. Our press should do a better job exploring and examining what the real underlying issues are rather than brushing people off as lazy or juvenile. Millennials aren't stupid. We know that one of the quickest ways to build wealth is to own property. We also know that financial stability means not having to adjust costs based on the whims of a landlord. Let's address the underlying economic factors, because reporting on one random survey is lazy and irresponsible to say the least. You never have to miss another episode of No Filter by ringing the bell below. You'll get notified whenever we publish something new. And don't forget to join TYT and download the TYT Plus app today. Download our TYT Plus app on your iPhone or head over to tyt.com/join.